Good evening, paranormal community, and thank you for partaking in our Halloween Spooktacular here on the Odyssey Files. I am your Spooktacular host, Michael O'Neill. With me, as spooky as ever, is my co-host, Mr. David Sorry. Good evening, Dave.
Good evening, Mike. Good evening to all of our Halloween loving fans that might be logging in tonight. I love Halloween, by the way.
I am okay with Halloween.
Favorite show of the year. I will tell you what, this year I was looking early and the price of Halloween animatronics has dropped substantially. They have one for $200. I'm not going to say where you can find it, but it's at a great big online box store. And it's a 7-foot tall, like hooded Reaper looking guy. And he has a child in his hands and he starts talking about how he's going to steal her soul. He picks her up, like raises his hand so that she's face to face with him. His eyes turn green. Smoke starts pouring out of the hood. Her face lights up with bright orange eyes. And he starts drawing literally like a mist or something fires out of her mouth. And he sucks it in like he's sucking his soul out of her. $200. I'm like, now I got to go buy a house. I have to have a yard to put that in. That's the most beautiful Halloween thing I've seen. It's a good thing they didn't have those things when I was big into Halloween when my kids were growing up, because good God, I would have had like $5,000 worth of Halloween stuff in my yard.
Are
you not doing the Halloween background? Is it going to just, I'm going to be a loner?
I'm trying, but this
doesn't like you.
It doesn't, because I'm just not for right now. Maybe I'll get to it later. But,
okay.
So yeah, we were going to both go Halloween background, but Dave brought it up like
about 22 before.
Yeah, 22 seconds before we were supposed to go on the air, and that just wasn't enough. And yeah, so I'll just do my own.
He'll just be spooky all by himself.
I'll just go to the beat of my own drum here. So anyway, we have an amazing as I'm trying to type and talk at the same time, which doesn't really work. A great show for you. A great
I was gonna say, I'm not going amazing, but I'm gonna go fun.
It is gonna be fun because I found some cool. I mean, not only did I find some information on the Crossroads Demon, but as I was telling you, and I only share this because for all of you people out there who are going to listen to the show or at some point in your life want to look up information on the Crossroads Demon, it's like 90% supernatural show and like 2% actual Crossroads information, and the other 8% is like crap.
You got to start at about page 6 to actually find anything.
Yes,
because the first 5 pages are all supernatural references.
Yes,
and there's nothing wrong with that. Supernatural is a phenomenal show, but for our purposes,
yes,
that's not what we were looking for.
Yeah, trying to do research on something that has been made 1,000 times more popular and mainstream because of a TV show means that the information you're looking for is now on the back burner.
Right.
Because nobody cares about the actual information on the Crossroads Demon. They only want to look up supernatural.
Right.
And in general, good for you. Specifically for this show, up yours. You made this so much more difficult for myself. I don't want to speak for Dave, but for myself, you did. But that's okay, because we're going to take the information we do have and share it with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to share some amazing Halloween facts. Like, I found one that I did not know, period. ever that I thought was hilarious. Well, like spooky hilarious. Like, oh my god, I never knew that that's where the origin story was. And so, do we want to start there?
Sure, go ahead.
Oh,
Perfect place.
Perfect place. So, trick or treating. Okay.
Yep.
Trick or treating comes from the ancient practice called souling, where children would go door to door asking for food and money in exchange for praying for the souls of the dead.
I like that.
I do too. Like, who knew our children could be so exploitive? Like,
Right.
they're exploiting people's need for prayers and like goodwill.
That's
They're like, give me.
capitalism 101 right there.
It is. It's amazing. But
I mean, that's better than showing up asking if they need their lawn mowed. Because then you actually have to do some work. I mean, here you just have to say, "Hey, I'll say a kind word for your dead mom."
yeah,
I like that.
give
I'm
me
gonna start doing
money.
that. Yeah, $20, and I will say a prayer for all of your loved ones.
Yeah. The thing about this is this goes really well with purgatory because it takes like the prayers of the living in order to get like loved ones or whatever out of purgatory.
Right.
And so it's almost like, hey, I heard a rumor that your dead mom's in purgatory. You want a little want me to help her out? How about a little something
How about a
something?
little scratch?
For
Huh?
the
How
effort.
many? Yeah, exactly. How many Benjamins you got?
Me and my
Hey,
gang.
llama. Hey,
Me and my
llama. How about a little something for the carry?
It's exactly where I got it from.
I know.
How about a little something, for the effort.
For the effort, yeah. So he says, on my deathbed, I will regain complete consciousness. So I got that going for me. And if you don't know what that is, shame on you, because it's one of the 3 best movies ever made.
Agreed.
Oh God.
So apple bobbing, did not know this, which again made me laugh. The tradition of apple bobbing originated in Britain, where women would bob their heads in water to try to bite into apples named after their male suitors.
Ooh. And so if you got the app, if like his name was carved in the apple or something, then that's who you hooked up with?
I don't know. It doesn't go into like more
Well, that's a
more
shock.
detail than that.
Well, I could tell you what, I'm gonna implement that, and then like the next time I do that, every apple in there is gonna have Dave on it.
It's almost like what Coke used to do when they would have,
Oh, the
share.
Coke cans with your name on it? Yeah.
Yeah, the bottles or whatever that would
Yeah.
have the names on it. I know I took a photo. I got one that named Rachel, and I a good friend Rachel, so I took a photo of it and sent it to her. And but yeah, they don't do that anymore.
No.
It's too bad.
Who knows? They probably got sued.
Oh, who could sue them for putting
Don't know.
random
People can sue
generalized?
people for anything these days, so I
That's
don't
true.
know.
I can only imagine that it would be considered baseless and get tossed out immediately. I would hope.
I wouldn't think so, but well, look at it this way, right? Going back now, I don't know how many years it was ago, but the Red Bull gives you wings. They had to respell the word wings to a nonsensical number of I's because the guy sued him and said, I drink Red Bull and I never sprouted any wings. And he won, settled out of court for $250,000. So there are some kind of factless, fruitless lawsuits that actually go through. So
they do. This is off of Halloween, but since it's on the same topic, I absolutely love this one. It's the Winnebago. A person bought a new Winnebago, went down the road, went down the highway, set the cruise control, and then got up to go and make himself a pot of coffee. And naturally, the Winnebago left the road and crashed, and he sued Winnebago because nowhere in their manual did it say they could not get out of the chair to go while the vehicle was in motion, and he won.
Yep. Well, sure he did because right.
And so, and so the
Like set
bottom,
the cruise
the
and then
the
get up
bo-
and make a sandwich.
the bottom line of that, like the conclusion to that story when I read it was, so now in the manual, it has it in there that you cannot leave your seat while the vehicle is in motion in case any other idiots want to buy their product.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so
that's
anyway,
bad.
back to Halloween.
Yeah, back to Halloween. We'll save more stupid stories like that for two guys and some chips when we get around to doing that. So,
Oh yeah, that's the Darwin Awards.
so
Yeah,
on average, so I like this. On average, kids bring home 11,000 calories worth of candy on Halloween.
that's it.
That's it.
Uh,
That's because people don't give away enough chocolate these days.
That's
You
true.
know, yeah. I mean, if you gave away chocolate, it'd be a lot higher than 11,000.
Well,
But I do like this one too. John Carpenter's 1978 horror movie Halloween, which is just a classic horror movie. A classic Halloween. You got to watch it at Halloween time. Have you ever seen it? Don't tell me you haven't seen it.
I think I am. I'm
With
pretty
Michael
sure.
Myers, the original, with Jamie
Yeah,
Lee Curtis when she was young. Okay. It was filmed in 21 days. That's pretty amazing to film a movie in 21 days. That's impressive.
especially one that became a classic.
Yeah. I mean, that's like Blair Witch Project fast.
I'm sure though that uh, the cult classic Thanksgiving was probably filmed in about 12 hours.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Um, they in 2022, I should probably look up the 2023, but it just kind of showed up. So maybe it takes a bit to get like all the numbers in. But in 2022, Americans plan to spend more than $10 billion on Halloween. So that's Halloween. So that's all the costumes and candy
Yeah.
and
Right. Right.
decorations and stuff like that.
That's impressive. That's an impressive number, though.
Yeah,
And here's what's not impressive: seeing Christmas shit in the stores before Halloween.
that's amazing.
That is not impressive at all. At least wait until Halloween is over. Have some respect.
Are we just
Don't
forgetting
put
about
Christmas trees up.
are we just forgetting about Thanksgiving or what?
Well, Christ, they don't even. Nobody cares about Thanksgiving anymore.
Apparently not.
I mean, I mean, it's a great tradition. It's an American type of tradition, but so is Halloween. I mean, Australia doesn't even celebrate Halloween.
Well,
They
that's
think
why
it's
nobody
just
likes Australia.
commercialism, American
It,
commercialism. They don't even recognize it.
it is. It is American commercialism.
No, the original Halloween started back in Europe. It's their fault. I'm blaming the Europeans.
Oh,
Sam Hain days.
there actually is a Sam homophobia.
There is. I saw that.
The fear of Halloween. People who have this phobia experience anxiety when they think about or experience anything related to Halloween.
And you know what the fear of candy is called?
Candyobia.
Nonsense.
No. Yeah, that's a good call. Bullshit.
Mhm. Yeah, because there is no such thing as a fear of candy.
So, speaking of bullshit candy corn.
God,
What? Segue.
that stuff is so bad.
So the candy corn is one of the oldest Halloween candies dating back to the 1880s.
I think
And
it's the same every year. I think
I
people
do.
just give it away. People throw it away. Somehow it gets recycled out of the garbage can back into our society, and it just gets handed out again and again and again.
Well,
It's
I
disgusting.
agree. I honestly think that some of the candy corn that is given out was the original
The original candy corn from
that was
1888. Yeah.
from the 1880s.
Yeah.
It was invented by George Renninger, a person who I'm sure his tombstone gets toilet papered every year.
Oh God. Yeah.
At the Wonderl Candy Company in Philadelphia. So candy corn was invented in Philadelphia.
Well, shout out to Philly.
You did it again, Philly.
Yeah, it's going Philly.
Um,
You know, I've eaten it when I was younger. I will say this: it's cool looking. I'll give it its props. It does look. It looks cool for a little candy. It looks like some kind of fancy treat for, and it's like made specifically for Halloween, but it's just makes it like a gummy out of it or something. Do something different with it. You know,
I,
like
I,
like a
I
hot,
need
like a gummy chew kind of thing. I mean, I would do that. Like I like gummy stuff like that, like
I need
gummy
a, I
worms and gummy
yeah,
bats. You know,
I need a candy corn gummy.
yeah, I would too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if we see that for next year, we're suing because that was our idea here.
All right,
25% of annual candy sales in the US are for Halloween. That's an impressive number.
25%.
Of the candy sales in the US are specifically for Halloween.
Oof.
I wonder what the average person like puts on weight wise for Halloween. I wonder if it's like the same thing for like when Christmas comes around and grandma's baking cookies and pies and treats and you
I
know
can't
fat
imagine it.
laden dips and
I can't.
grog.
can't I can't get behind that 10 fun size Snicker bars is like an entire meal. I mean, I'm not saying
No.
that people only eat like the fun size Snicker bars, 10 of them. They eat, at least 1,000. But
Mhm.
no, I just can't get behind the whole uh the Halloween candy season and the whole entire Christmas season.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Christmas
Yeah,
hands down, got to be
yeah,
Christmas. Um, so I don't know if you're going to agree with this or not.
yeah.
So I decided to look up for the fun facts, uh, the 10 the top 10 Halloween movie slash TV shows
Mm,
ranked. So this is a combination of the two, not just
right.
uh, not just fall Halloween fall movies and TV series of all time. And it goes down to like 130, but I'm just gonna put the top 10 because that's all I care about.
Right.
And some of these I've never even heard of before. When good ghouls go bad,
Never heard of it.
neither have I. 2001, it's an hour and a half made for TV movie. But here's what I love. When 12-year-old Danny Walker moves to his father's hometown in Minnesota,
Oh, we're getting a
he
shout
fi-
out there.
he finds that the town doesn't celebrate Halloween and things aren't quite what they appear to be, which I find completely stupid considering Anoka, Minnesota
I was just gonna
prides
say,
itself on like the Halloween capital of the world.
yeah, yeah. I was
They had
just gonna say, you, if it was in Minnesota, it definitely was not anywhere near Anoka
or the Twin Cities. Yeah,
or the Twin Cities. Yeah,
yeah,
no.
like you're out in Alexandria or something like that. And I'm even sure they celebrate Halloween. I don't know for sure though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm thinking more like you're up around Bemidji or Hibbing or something like that.
International Falls.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but Christopher Lloyd is in it. That's interesting. And it was only
It is
made in
interesting.
2001.
Hmm.
Number 9, Monster House.
Oh, good movie.
Not to be confused with Animal House.
No, the Pixar one, right?
No. This one is different.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that. I saw the animated one. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it says 3 teens discover that their neighbor's house is really a living, breathing, scary monster.
Oh yeah, that's the animated one.
That is the animated one? All
Yeah,
right.
that's the animated one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was wondering how they would make a house like a scary monster.
Yeah,
And that makes sense.
that does make sense. Yep.
Number 8, Beetlejuice,
Oh, classic.
of course.
Although I never did see Beetlejuice 2. I wonder if somebody's streaming, hint hint, some streaming channel is going to put that out for Halloween so we can watch Beetlejuice 2.
I believe Prime has Beetlejuice 2 out, but you have to pay for it. It's available to rent or buy.
Yeah.
One of
But
those
the
things.
day after Halloween, it'll be free.
It'll be a Netflix or something.
It'll be,
like that.
I was going to say, it'll be on Paramount Plus for free the day after Halloween.
Yeah. Number 7, Casper.
I give Casper some props because I grew up with watching Casper on a regular Saturday morning weekly basis.
Number 6, The Addams Family.
Classic.
Classic.
Yep.
Now, this one I don't think gets the props that it deserves. A movie called Trick or Treat.
Oh, good movie.
Yes. I've only seen it once, but I like went out and bought it and then never watched it again. And I lost it somehow. I think I borrowed it to a friend and then I never got
it back. Yeah.
But it's on streaming now anyway. So
Oh yeah, it's always somebody always has it playing for Halloween.
Yeah. If you've never seen the movie Trick or Treat, do so. It is actually amazingly
disturbing.
well put together.
Yeah, it is disturbing. It's a really good movie for Halloween.
It's shockingly good.
Yeah.
Number 4, Halloween Town.
That's gonna be the Disney one.
It's animated. Yeah, I'm assuming.
No, I don't think it is. Halloween Town is where they have the competition for best Halloween decorations. Is that the one that Eddie Murphy's in?
No, you're thinking of
The Christmas
Haunted Mansion.
One. No,
I thought you were thinking of Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, no. Although that remake was good. The remake of it.
When a young girl living with her secret witch mother learns she's is a witch, she must help her witch grandmother save Halloween Town from evil forces.
Nope. Not sure I saw that.
Yeah, it is a Disney movie, but it's a Disney like live action. Like it's not animated.
Gotcha.
I think the last 3 go without introduction. Number 3, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Classic.
Number 2, Halloween.
Classic.
And number 1, Hocus Pocus. Yes.
There you go. That's a good movie.
That is a good movie.
Yeah, I like that movie.
I watch it every Halloween.
One of my sister's absolute favorites. I watch it because she watches
it. What I don't like is the fact that what is it? Oh wow. It's not even out yet. And number 18 is already Beetlejuice.
Wow. What about Hocus Pocus 2?
That's what I was looking up. Number 23.
Okay.
I don't even think it deserves to be up that high.
I don't either. I was just curious. The original Hocus Pocus, though, is classic.
Yes, 100%. What bothers me, and I guess it's not it kind of is because it takes place during the fall, is what you named earlier, the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes place in the fall because they have all the leaves and stuff all over the ground.
Right.
But yet, so far, it is not on this list in the top. Oh, Supernatural's number 45. Go F yourselves.
Yeah, well, that list sucks, obviously.
I was just going to say, come on, It is 51. You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, It was great. That's a good movie.
Of course.
Especially if you're afraid of clowns. Like, I'm not afraid of clowns, but man, if you're afraid of clowns, that's a classic.
I agree. I don't know what this.
My allergies must be bad today, boy. My voice feels rough.
I haven't noticed any difference. So yeah, I don't. I honestly, like I have watched a lot of like Glee countdowns.
I can't believe that.
I know.
It
just shows up. I don't know what the problem is. It just shows up.
Right.
And I never agree with those lists, and I agree with some of them on the list that I just read, just not all of them. And maybe that's because I haven't seen all of them in the top 10. But yeah, I mean, Supernatural, come on, number 45. But yet you're gonna have Michael Jackson's The Thriller.
Oh, come on, that's good. That's a great video.
Yeah, number 20, Dave, is The Batman.
No. What the hell is that doing on a Halloween list? Get that out of here.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Supernatural, which is like right up there, is number 45, but put The Batman.
No.
And that's the Robert Pattinson one.
No.
Not saying it's a bad movie. Does not deserve to be on this list.
No. I will say this for the adults out there that like to have a beverage every now and then. You can get yourself a spooky cocktail at Applebee's for $1.
They're
The dollar zombie.
the dollar zombie. I knew it was
Yeah, it's like a
zombie, but
turquoise blue, and it's got a floating gummy eyeball in it. And they're $1, which is amazing.
I wouldn't have one even if I want, unless they had like a virgin zombie. But
Yeah, I don't know if they make virgins. They might.
what's even in them? Do you know?
Some sort of really sugar-laden cocktail mixture and rum and a gummy eyeball.
And a gummy eyeball. That's awesome. I like.
I'm sure you could get one for. It probably costs you $3 if they have to make it for you without the rum. but with the rum in it, it's only $1. So,
well, ain't that swell?
not promoting Applebee's, just saying. Well, it's our show. We can promote whatever the hell we want to, but nothing wrong with hitting Applebee's a couple times a year.
I agree, especially with the.
There you go.
There, we're all festive now.
There we go.
Just kidding. So anyway, I've been reading off a lot of mine. Do you have any of your own fun Halloween?
I did. Give me a second. Let me.
You did? You just closed it all down?
I did. Yeah. Because when you were doing yours, I was like, well, he's covering them all, so I'll just close mine.
I think we talked about that last time.
We did. I'm kind of looking because I don't want to repeat everything we did. Trick or treating is a medieval past. We know that. We talked about it. We talked about the unexpected romantic backstory.
You mean about the bobbing for apples?
Well, that, and then they used to take apple peels and they threw them over their shoulder.
Oh.
And when they went and picked them up, they would hope to see the initials of their loved one like magically appear in the apple peel, like carved in the apple peel.
We talked last time about the Des Moines Beggars Night, I think.
I don't think we did. That doesn't sound familiar.
Really? Okay. Well, Des Moines, Iowa, just south, has a tradition called Beggars Night. And that's the night before Halloween. Young children in Des Moines hits the streets for Beggars Night. The event began around 1938. It's a way to prevent vandalism and give younger children a safer way to enjoy Halloween. Beggars Night is similar to trick-or-treating, except kids are required to tell a joke, poem, or perform a quote-unquote trick for a treat. The best part, the jokes are notorious groan-worthy, like, if April showers brings May flowers, what do May flowers bring?
Pilgrims.
That's exactly what it is. Pilgrims, get your best dad jokes ready. David, you and your dad jokes.
Can't help it. It's a classic.
Of course, the White House is haunted. We already knew that.
Yeah, we know that. President Lincoln.
Oh yeah, President Lincoln
scared the bejesus out of who was it? The British Prime Minister
Churchill.
Yeah, Winston Churchill walked out of the bathroom naked and had taken a nice soaking bath and had a cigar and walked out of there to come back into the bedroom and kind of get his clothes laid out, pajamas laid out to go to bed. And Abraham Lincoln was standing in there, and his famous quote was, "Excuse me, Mr. President, you seem to have caught me at a disadvantage." That's just a classic response to seeing a ghost, right? Because he knows Abraham Lincoln. Everybody knows who Abraham Lincoln is. And I don't know if you have the list up anymore, but if Abraham Lincoln, the vampire killer, is not on the top 20 of that list, then that list is horseshit.
It's not,
because that movie is classic.
I agree. It wasn't even the top 50.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
But yet they have practical magic at 53.
No, I'm sorry. But Abraham Lincoln, if you're listening and you've never seen Abraham Lincoln Vampire Killer or Vampire Hunter, whichever one it was.
Vampire Hunter.
Just a great kind of twist of a classic story about our American president when he was young and vampires, which does not go together, but this movie is actually really good.
It
So
is.
it actually does go together.
And what's not at all good anymore is this list.
No, I
Okay,
would
so
agree.
so remember the Batman was number 20, but Ash versus Evil Dead is 56.
Ash versus Evil Dead is top 10 all day long.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Evil Dead in itself is top 10.
I know.
Creepy. The remake of that, my kids wouldn't even watch it. When they did the remake of that movie and they went all out with the CGI effects, and the lady that was locked, the one of the group that went down and got locked into that cellar door that fell through the floor, and she stuck her head back up, and the lady standing in the living room actually peed herself in fright. My kids were up and out of the room and would not come back in the room and made me turn the TV off. I mean, that was a dad moment that every dad can be proud of, when your kids are that disturbed by a movie choice that you make that they actually leave the room and refuse to come back in till the TV is turned off. So you're welcome, girls.
Speaking of being embarrassed to the point where you should turn the TV off.
Yeah.
Batman Forever, which we all know is the George Clooney, I believe.
Oh, God. Batman.
Number 69. Number 70, The Conjuring. That's exactly what I'm just sitting there. Oh my God. What? This can't even, what? Sixth Sense.
I can't even talk to that list anymore.
Poltergeist is number 76. Poltergeist, Dave.
Poltergeist is the top 20.
Yeah, I agree. But
it's hard. You'd have to move some movies around, but Poltergeist, I hadn't watched it forever. And I think it was last year before Christmas I watched it again. And I'm like, God, I forgot how good this movie is. And it's not just the scene where they dug the pool and the bodies popped up because they built it on a burial ground. Just all of the spectral energy that was coming through the television set, and just all the weird stuff that was happening. I mean, that was a really, really well done movie, especially considering it's old now.
It's old now.
I'm just saying, right? Like, it was done quite a while ago, but watching it without it being remade, watching the original, it was still a really, really good movie.
Yeah.
Just like you're never going to convince me that oh, never mind. I forgot.
Yeah, this list is terrible.
Yeah.
And sorry, Dave, no Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Well, that's just a shame.
It is a shame. But then again, I don't, yes, you'd put that in there for like creep factor, but I don't know if it's necessarily Halloween, fall, or TV series. It's not a TV series.
No, I'll give him that.
But neither is The Batman. So
okay. Exactly.
I'm never going to get over that. I'm sorry. It's going to haunt me. Like, people like shoot up in bed after a nightmare and they like scream out something.
Yeah.
That's going to be mine. I'm just going to like, The Batman. And then I'm just going to go back to sleep. Like, it's going to haunt me forever.
Oh my God. Okay. I got to mention this. So pumpkin carving. Love pumpkin carving. It's just a classic. I mean, when they came out with those kits you could buy many years ago where you could make the intricate designs, I was all over that stuff, man. Yes, it was copied on there. I get it. And it took a lot of time. I get that too. But some of those designs are really, really good. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I just want to point out that Pennsylvania is the home to the world's fastest pumpkin carver. Steve Clark from Pennsylvania carved a traditional jack-o'-lantern style pumpkin in 16.47 seconds. So, Steve, polite golf clap. That is impressive.
Now, he obviously
16 seconds. That's impressive.
He obviously didn't gut it.
No,
and then do
unless
it.
he had a chainsaw. I mean, or some kind of like, sawzall or something. But no, he did not gut it. No, but he carved it in under 20 seconds. That's impressive. So 16.47 seconds.
So speaking of jack-o'-lanterns or pumpkins, the city of Keene, New Hampshire in 2013 set the Guinness Book of World Records for having 30,581 jack-o'-lanterns on display. Lit.
Yeah, I that used to be a big deal. Like every year they would top each other. There was a couple of different like cities that made like a big deal out of that. And so it became this competition with different cities from different states that were like competing to see how many they could get. That's impressive though. How much was it? 31,000?
30,581.
All right.
Apparently
that's a lot of pumpkins.
They have broken their own record 8 different times.
Wow.
Since their original attempt.
Wow. Good for them.
So, and they have a photo of like, it's just like this big shelving unit in the middle of town. It just has this like tons and tons of jack-o'-lanterns on it.
That's impressive.
It is.
That's my background. And your background.
Well,
I got to go this way.
Yeah, there you go.
There we
go. That's perfect. You should stay that way the rest of the show. We can still hear you. That's all we need.
Yeah, you can hear me. That's all. It's important. Let's see the cool background. You don't need to be part
of it. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for.
That's exactly what you were going for. I know.
All right, let's see here. There's so much facts here. I love it.
Well, how about this? The spooky hit Monster Mash, which is a classic Halloween song, was once banned by the BBC. They made the unusual decision to ban the 1962 hit song from airplay because they considered it too morbid. It was over a decade later in 1973 when the Halloween hit finally got the attention it deserved in the UK. 11 years after its release, the song hit number 3 in the UK charts.
The Monster Mash.
He did the mash. He did the monster mash. The monster mash. It was a graveyard smash.
Well, if your allergies are kicking in, it's perfect for the Monster Mash.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? I was just laughing at that. So I don't know what's going on. My voice is rough.
We mentioned Anoka, Minnesota.
Yep.
So apparently, it says a small Minnesota city, obviously taller than Anoka, is believed to have hosted the very first Halloween parade in 1920. Obviously, it has more than 17,000 residents now. But Anoka still celebrates the holiday each year with a house decorating contest, a 5K run, and 3 Halloween parades, one of which was yesterday.
I'm going to say this. So on one of my lists, when I was looking up kind of stuff for Halloween, it said the largest Halloween parade is in New York City. And I'm dismissing that because I'm allowed to, because it's our show. So I'm dismissing that because per capita, Halloween does not have the largest Halloween parade.
You mean New York doesn't have?
Or, yeah. What did I say?
You said Halloween doesn't have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Sorry. New York does not have the largest Halloween parade per capita measurement now. I think it's Anoka. And you got to give respect where respect is due.
Here's one that's interesting. So, because we've talked about this before on the show many times, and that's public's belief in ghosts. And it says, do you believe in the paranormal experiences and apparitions? If so, you're far from alone. According to a 2019, so this is a pretty recent one.
Yeah.
YouGov poll, 4 out of 10 Americans believe that there are ghosts, demons, and other supernatural entities exist. Out of those surveys, 13% also believe that vampires are real. Well, some people are dumb, some people aren't.
Exactly.
I would have thought that more than 40% would believe in ghosts.
I would say that's low. I think the last thing that I saw that was like an actual poll that they took, it was something like close to 60%.
Yeah.
If you've listened to this show for 7 years and listened to us talk and listened to our guests and the topics that we've covered and done some research on your own, and you don't think that there's something going on outside of the normal realm of human existence, then I'm not sure what you're still doing here, to be honest. I mean, it could be because you like us. That's great. Please continue. But because we like to have fun on the show. So please don't leave the show. That wasn't meant to be offensive. But but honestly, like we've covered some really over the last 7 years, we have covered some really amazing things and shared some really amazing experiences. And one of my favorite locations to investigate has now been turned into the paranormal equivalent of Walt Disney World. And I can't say it on the show because I'm not going to. And I'm not going to say how I feel about it because it's laden with a bunch of the F-bombs. And so I'm not going to do that either.
But after the show, you're going to have to tell me about this because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know anything about who you're talking about.
It's the best EVP I ever have recorded in the 50 years that I've been doing this. Came from that location, and it is unbelievably. I mean, it's the best EVP. I'm not going to say it's the best EVP I've ever heard, but I'm going to say it's in the top 10, and I'm not patting myself on the back. And I give it that credit not only because of how clear it is, but because of how long it was and how it continued. And it was actually a conversation, and she was responding to me, and there were no women from Britain in the room with me. So it's amazing. And if you ever want to hear it, let me know and we'll play it on the air, but you got to send in a request.
Yes. OdysseyFilesRadio.com. Website post, website plug.
Yep, website plug.
So this is interesting. I guess I never thought that there was a meaning behind it, but the meaning behind black and orange as Halloween colors. So according to the Library of Congress, black and orange are the colors of Halloween because the ancient Celts believed black symbolized the death of summer and orange symbolized the fall harvest.
Well, that's interesting because I don't correlate black with summer, and summer, everything's growing.
Well, it's the death of summer, Dave.
Yeah, I understand that. I heard you the first time, but I don't understand how that how that works. I will say this: they like to throw like the Black Plague and like a lot of things throughout history that have taken a ton of human lives. Obviously, they associate death with black. I mean, when we see spirits, a lot of times they're black. Shadow people are black. The Hat Man shows up as kind of this really dark black figure. All kinds of stuff like that. Crossroads Demons show up as really dark black figures.
Are we segueing into our main topic?
No, we can after I throw this out there. Celebrities who were born on Halloween. Dan Rather.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson. Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
You can do it.
Yeah. That's one of my ringtones.
Yeah. William Smith. Larry Mullen Jr. and Dermot Mulroney. And I'm sure there's many, many more. That just happens to be who somebody else found those names and put them on the internet for me to read. Did you see the thing with Jason Voorhees actually found at the bottom of the lake? So the guy actually carved from Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees, and like wrapped him like you would a dead, like actually wrapped them like you would a dead body, right? Like in bubble wrap and tarps, ropes, and everything like that. And he threw it into a spring in one of the mining pits when they flood. You know, sometimes like when they dig too deep, they hit an aquifer, and then like the mining stops and they back all the equipment out because they hit a natural water table. Well, anyway, then it creates these really beautiful gin clear like swimming holes, and we've got them here. Actually, there's up north a lot of the mining that was done for taconite and stuff. When they get too deep, they hit the water, and then they stock them with trout because the water's so clear. But anyway, there was a guy who threw the serial killer in there, and somebody who was diving found it and scared the shit out of himself. Thought it was thought it was an actual body, like they actually went out and located it and like had emergency crews come out. And
well, how's this for coincidence? So I'm looking at this list from the Today Show that's like 48 unknown facts about Halloween or whatever, and literally on the screen says Jason Voorhees lives at the bottom of a lake.
There you go.
Jason Voorhees, the psychopath serial killer from Friday the 13th movie, is immortalized at the bottom of a Minnesota lake.
There you go.
According to a YouTube video, a diver chained a statue of the fictitious serial killer, hockey mask and all, to the bottom of a mine pit in the city of Crosby, where it remains today.
That's funny.
That is funny. So this is me. 100% this is me. Some Americans pretend not to be home on Halloween. Absolutely 100% do it. All the lights are off.
14%.
Oh no, I said some Americans pretend not to be
home.
I saw
it was 14%, where they pretend like they're not home. They shut all the lights off. They cease to exist when the kids are looking for a treat, and they just hide and stare out the window, and that totally is you.
Actually, this one is 21% of respondents.
Oh, Christ. So that's because you're in it now. You're in the group now. So
and that's a 2021 poll.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, that is absolutely me. I come home from work, I shut off all the lights, I take junk food or dinner or whatever down to the theater room.
Downstairs to the theater room, and
I watch Hocus Pocus, and I don't come out until 10 o'clock when all the kids are gone, and I go to bed.
Oh my God, that is so non-Halloween of you, but
that's right.
But that's okay. That's all right. Everybody has their own kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So
what was I going to say? It was. I wanted to mention this. U.S. destinations that have spooky names. Mm-hmm. So Scarville City, Iowa, Slaughter Beach, Delaware. I like that. Like I could move to Slaughter Beach, Delaware, because I don't want to live in Delaware. But other than that, I could live there. Tombstone, Arizona, great town. A lot of history there. A lot of spirit activity there, actually, too. Bad Axe, Michigan, been there. Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, have not been there. But when I go to North Carolina, I'm going there. Because I think, isn't that the one that has the circle pit?
I have no idea.
The clearing where nothing grows. And then it's called the Devil's Garden. Anyway, I think that's in Kill Devil Hills. And I think that's part of the triangle. Sleepy Hollow, New York, as we all know, and that it better be on that list. Sleepy Hollow. You want to talk about TV shows that were on the air that were great TV shows? Sleepy Hollow certainly deserves a top 30.
Actually,
because that was a great show.
The movie was put on the list. The show was not.
Well, the show was classic.
I agree.
The guy who was the main character, he made that.
Oh God, yeah.
God,
but good. No, the Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci
movie, that was okay.
Sleepy Hollow made number 13.
Yeah, no, you got to give the series higher than that. Anyway, and then the reason I mention it is because Munster, Indiana, is there, and that town is right next to the town I grew up in. Yeah,
that's named after cheese, not Halloween.
I'll give you that, the Munsters. But it was I grew up in the town right next door to that.
We'll have to look at this once Christmas comes to see if Santa Claus Indiana is on there.
Oh, well, it better be.
Because I nearly took a
That town celebrates Halloween. That town celebrates Christmas 365, 24/7.
as it should.
Yeah, that's the most popular post office in the United States.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
That's where
So-
everybody sends their Santa letters.
Yeah, it's where all the
Yeah.
Santa letters go. Yeah. Yep.
So here's a question for you, Dave.
Yeah.
Pumpkins, fruit or vegetable?
I'm going to say vegetable.
I think it's saying
Part
that
of the
it's
squash family.
it's classified as a fruit.
Kind of like a tomato is a fruit. That
Apparently,
blows people away still.
it,
I have that conversation occasionally. Not like I don't focus on it, but if it happens to come up in conversation, I'll mention that. And people will look at me like, it's a vegetable, Dave. It's not. It's a fruit. Look it up.
it's considered. So while Halloween's beloved orange gourds might look like vegetables, they start as flowers and have seeds, which classifies them as a fruit.
Oh.
And put your phone on silent, David.
Sorry, you heard that too. That
I
was
did.
loud. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I moved it away. Sorry. It is on
Eh.
silent. That's the weird thing. There's no, all 4 of my levels are down.
Oh, wow. It still vibrated? Well, that's horrible.
That is horrible. Okay. So most popular costumes, and then we're going to transition here because we're getting close. Well, we got 7 minutes left. We'll go at the hour. So according to Google, these were the top Halloween costumes in 2023.
Yeah, they all look right.
Barbie.
Barbie.
Princess. Isn't Barbie and Princess the same thing?
No.
Spider-Man. Very cool. Witch. I would have said Witch was going to be number 1. That would have been my guess. Fairy. So we got Barbie, Princess, and Fairy in the top 5. I think you could throw all of those into one. And Spider-Man 2, Witch 3. Just saying. Wednesday Addams. I will say, if you saw that the series, that was really well done.
It was.
And the girl who played Wednesday Addams did a great job.
Jenna
I really
Ortega.
enjoyed. Yeah, I really enjoyed watching that. Dinosaur. No, that's cool. But that beat out Cowboy.
As it should.
And yeah, I guess. And Ninja. And rounding out the top 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's
8,
10.
9, 10. Is Bunny.
Well, you set that up to like this big suspense. You're like, Bunny.
Where's Vampire? Where's Frankenstein? Where's the Mummy? Creature from the Black Lagoon.
No.
Where's the classics? Sasquatch. Why is Sasquatch not like a top 10 Halloween costume?
Because they would probably be on YouTube.
Somebody would probably shoot you.
Is that
Knowing how screwed up our society is.
Although, honestly, if you were Sasquatch, you could roam the streets freely.
This would be the
Halloween.
perfect time to come out and get some treats, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, some Jack Links.
Or an
beef
alien.
Jerky. Absolutely.
I mean, especially if you're like one of the Greys.
Oh,
I mean,
God, yeah.
you have the stature of a kid anyways.
Right.
And you go to
And Alien's not on here. Isn't that weird? Like,
Alien's not on here.
I mean, again, Wednesday Addams, really liked the show. Thought it was really well done. I'm just not feeling like top 10 costume.
Gee, tell me if this
Bunny. How the hell does Bunny get in there? Who the hell is dressing up like a bunny on Halloween? Where's like the Purge? Like the Purge, the masks from the Purge, those neon masks. Where's that at?
Well, it's interesting that you should mention that, Dave.
Because I'm seriously like the Purge, like that should be something people should be disturbed about because that could happen in our real lives. I mean, the only scary thing about a bunny that's ever been recorded in history is Monty Python when he throws the holy hand grenade at the bunny. That's the only thing that a bunny has ever been scary.
Oh, hold on, Dave. I want to go back to the Purge.
Okay, let's pull it back. We're pulling her back.
because you said, that's something that could actually happen in real life,
Sure, it could. Yeah.
and it already has. So tell me if this sounds familiar.
Okay.
Halloween was once known as Black Halloween. Before costumes and trick-or-treating, Halloween was a night for pranking. The pranks eventually got out of control, and in 1933, vandals caused millions of dollars of damage across the U.S., leading many people to refer to it as Black Halloween. Tell me that doesn't sound like The Purge.
That does kind of sound like The Purge. What year was that? 33?
1933.
Wow.
Just either getting into or getting out of the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I mean,
I
we
never
didn't
heard it.
create that much damage, but Halloween for us growing up, where I grew up, once we were old enough to that we weren't trick or treating anymore, like getting candy, we were out causing mischief. So I was part of that rebel group. But as I look at it, which is just classic, Michael Myers' mask was inspired by Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
I knew you'd love this.
Oh, we talked about that. Everybody knows that. Oh, God.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right.
Oh,
well, then I won't mention it.
Really? You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, the original Mike Myers mask is an inside out Captain Kirk mask.
Yeah. I just was looking at that and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for those who have a lot of additional spending income, U.S. pet owners spent around $700 million on pet costumes last year. Here was the top 10 list. Pumpkin. Hot dog. That's kind of funny. Bat. No. Bumblebee. No. Spider. I've seen some good dog spider costumes, so I'm going to give that one some props because I've seen a few. Devil. Whatever. I think like the red horns on the head thing and then like the devil's pitchfork tail thing, that doesn't count. But anyway, cat. I love that. Rounding out the number 7 spot, cat, or 8 spot, sorry. And then lion, and then ghost. So ghost actually makes the top 10 list for dog costumes,
yes,
but doesn't make the top 10 list for human costumes.
Nope. But Bunny does.
But Bunny did. You're going to wake up screaming about the Batman.
The Batman.
I'm going to wake up screaming about Bunny. That's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to have a nightmare about children dressed up as bunnies knocking on my door.
My friend Carla, this was way back when I lived above the funeral home. I had so much furniture, and I still have so much furniture. I just have a bigger house, so it looks spread out.
Right, exactly. So it kind of fits. Yeah,
it just kind of fits. But
yep,
it was a 1-bedroom, living room, kitchen, bathroom. I mean, it was that was it. And I had a lot of furniture, so I had a full-size couch in my bedroom because it was big enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so my friend Carla came home from college one weekend to hang out with me and whatnot. And so she stayed the night, and she stayed on the couch in my room. And she said in the middle of the night, for no reason, she said, I just lifted up in bed, like sat up, and was like, Black Knight? What the F? I actually set it up, and then I just laid down and went back to sleep. So I can do it. It has happened.
Yeah.
And so this time it'll be the Batman. What were you thinking? And then I'll just go back to bed.
And just go right back to bed.
Yep.
And I'm going to wake up. I'm going to wake up, sit up in bed, look around, see some spiders crawling up the wall, and be like, Bunny. All right, I'm tired of it. That's what's going to happen.
Well, then you're going to be in writhing pain because you sat up in bed.
If I sit up in bed like that, I will be in writhing pain. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. So what do we got here? All right. I got two more quick ones to get in, and then we're going to transition. So once
All
upon a time in Halloween, it was all about kids, but kids aren't the only one who likes to participate in Halloween. Adult costumes sales were up and were expected to top $2 billion in 2023. The top 5 list, Witch, thank you very much. Vampire, thank you very much. Barbie, Batman, and Cat.
Jesus.
Although I will say this. If you're a dude and you're dressed up like a cat, shame on you. If you're a female and you're dressed up like a cat and you're like a sexy cat, congratulations. I love cats. That's all I'm saying. Okay. And then top candies. Original M&Ms.
Hold on.
Okay. All right. No, I didn't want to linger on that because I didn't want to. This is a family friendly show, so
I was just gonna say there's no such thing as a sexy cat. It's
oh god,
sexy.
there is. Yes,
it's
yeah,
it's
you need to look online.
It's sexy kitty.
Okay, I'll give you that. Kitten.
There you go. All right,
okay.
Continue with candy.
Okay. Last year, the most popular candy. Drum roll, please.
M&Ms.
M&Ms. Reese's peanut butter cups. Good choice. Kit Kats. Good choice. Peanut M&Ms. One of my faves. Butterfingers above Snickers. I'm not feeling the love there. There must be a lot of people.
Anyway, I bet it's a price thing.
I was going to say like Snickers are like $8 a bag, and you can get Butterfingers for like $2.49 right next to it, and they're like, "Oh, let's give away." Everybody loves Butterfingers. No. Snickers. Twix, good choice. Milky Ways, Hershey's milk chocolate bar, the originals, always a classic. You can never go wrong with that because you can smear your own peanut butter on there. Classic. And Reese's Pieces. And with that, we are segueing into demonic activity at the Crossroads. And I'm going to open it. And I'm going to open it with a really profound statement. Do you know why I think activity at Crossroads carries the potential for demonic activity or a demonic meeting place?
Do I know why you think?
Yeah, my personal thoughts. Do you know why I think that activity at a Crossroads would be a spot where a demon would meet somebody who was potentially willing to trade their soul for fame, success, good looks, money, whatever they're willing to give. They're always going to give their soul. So let's just start with that. Crossroads Demons, they're always looking to take a soul, but what you get in return, it varies on the individual, obviously, because some people might be rich as hell but ugly as hell, and their wish is I want to be more attractive so I can attract the opposite sex and have a really successful life type of thing. But do you know what my personal take on it is?
In a word, Dave, no.
Okay. So if you think about Crossroads, right? It's like the sign of the cross. I think that somehow they've inverted the cross so that it's an upside down cross. And those locations are where these deals are made, which is why it doesn't happen at every single Crossroads. I know. It's a theory. It's my theory.
Okay.
But that's what I think is happening. I think that the locations where these things are happening, they seem to be prevalent in the southern parts of the US.
Yes.
So I am gonna start out with that because that is a fact. Like if you do your research on Crossroad Demons and stuff like that, and stories that have happened, and those locations, a majority of them, not all of them, but a majority of them are in the southern United States. I think that has something to do with it. And I think that somehow the geographical location, whether it be ley lines or whether it be railroad tracks close by or a water source close by or something like that, that would generate the energy that would cause that to be a special location to begin with. If you looked at it from the air, the way it would lay out, I think it would be an upside down cross. And I did not do research on that. I'm just throwing it out there.
This has not been individually confirmed by either.
It has not been confirmed. It's food for thought. So if you're listening to the show and you are wondering, I wonder if there's some credence to that.
No.
Look it up. Start doing some research of where individuals like Robert Johnson signed his life away.
And then if you find anything, you'll have to let Dave know.
Yeah, exactly. Then get back a hold of me.
Yeah, because he won't know unless you do the research.
Well, I got to throw tasks out every once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm working too many hours now, man. Between now and the New Year's, I've got no free time.
That's right. So this is the only podcast, the only radio show out there that gives us listeners homework.
Right. Which is cool. There's nothing wrong
with
that.
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes us cool.
Yeah.
We're going to get Christmas cards and everything because we give.
Hey, I like king size Snickers bars, by the way.
Maybe
don't send me those miniatures. I mean, I'll still appreciate it, but king size Snickers bars.
Don't be stingy on the Snickers, people.
Or some Twizzlers. I don't know how Twizzlers don't make the top 10 list, but Twizzlers are wonderful.
Nobody will give out. Twizzlers are what people buy for like their office candy bowl.
I like Twizzlers.
I do too, but nobody hands them out to children on Halloween. They hand it out.
Pixie sticks used to be popular when I was a kid.
Yeah, back in the 1940s. Sure. Sure, pixie sticks were amazing.
Yeah, back in 1906, those pixie sticks were loading up the bottom of the bag. That's where we got our 11,000 calories from, all sugar.
That is what they are. They're all sugar.
They're all sugar with a little bit of sour powder in it.
Yeah.
But they're still delicious. I don't care.
I know. And that, children, is how you get Dave and I.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Kit Kats are good too. But peanut M&Ms, you can win me over with peanut M&Ms. I love peanut M&Ms.
Yes, they are good. So obviously what started the whole Crossroads Demon thing was a true story, which was used in Supernatural and then added in the show, added to from the show, I should say, is the story of the blues musician Robert Johnson.
Yep.
And he claimed, because he was known to really not be that good.
He sucked.
Yeah.
No. It wasn't that he wasn't good. He sucked. People that knew him, he couldn't play guitar for shit. Like literally. He tried, and the people that grew up with him and knew him, he could not play guitar at all, nor could he sing. So just throwing that out there.
And then all of a sudden, he
right.
And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, he shows up.
Left. He left town for a period of time.
Right.
And then when he came back,
yeah, and he all of a sudden he had the ability to play the guitar and sing.
And sing.
And
$10 guitar. One of the greatest blues musicians ever. I have his CD of his early uncut recordings. Amazing blues guitar player. If you like the blues, amazing blues guitar player. And the guy couldn't strum a guitar when he left his town. And when he came back, shortly after, I'm trying to look up how long it was. I knew it at one point in my life, but I don't now. Anyway, Absolutely incredible, and became, for what everybody says, the father of blues. I mean, if you're a blues fan, he's one of the fathers of blues. So how
And
do you
he
explain that?
and well, I mean, and he claims he was quite like
Oh, he was open about it.
forthcoming that he
Yeah.
sold his soul
He sold his
to
soul to the devil at the Crossroads.
yeah.
He actually
And
wrote the song he wrote about it, became one of the like greatest songs ever written.
I guess I've never heard that, but I don't know if I've ever heard it.
You haven't heard it? Well, you don't. I don't know. Do you like? I don't see you as a blues fan.
I don't mind blues.
They say I grew up in Chicago, so Chicago blues is like it was hand in hand. Some of the greatest blues guitarists, and blues musicians that like out of the South, another location for them was Chicago. And so we
Gotcha.
used to have like Blues Fest every year. So I used to go to Blues Fest every year up in Chicago.
I like Blues Traveler.
There you go. That counts. They were kind of bluesy, kind of just
Bluesy.
like yeah, be that.
Okay, sweet.
But yeah, it was interesting, right? I mean, the guy couldn't play, he couldn't even strum a guitar. And then he goes and makes a deal with the devil at the Crossroads, or it wasn't the devil, I'm sure. Although
Not
I
a
don't
devil.
know that to be a fact. I don't know that to be a fact, so I'm not going to say it wasn't Lucifer himself. Could have been. Maybe he was out in those early years. Maybe he was out pimping, looking for a contract. I don't know. I'm not going to say he wasn't, but uh, you know, he could have been. But definitely made a contract and sold his soul to some sort of dark entity where they would be that where he didn't care about his what was going to happen to him as long as he could have some success uh, now, like instant gratification.
Well, not only that, but it's to be so good at something, you leave a legacy. Like people
Yeah,
remember your name.
yeah,
I mean, you just told me a second ago that he's considered one of the fathers of
he
blues.
is. He's one of the fathers of blues. Absolutely,
I mean, so why not? I mean, you don't want to just be good. You want to be the best.
the best, right? And if you're gonna give away your soul to go to hell for the rest of eternity, you better get something out of it.
Here's the deal that I would make.
I wouldn't make
Since
one. I'm just throwing that out there.
well, right. This
I
is a
would not
joke.
make it. I would
This is
not
a
make a
joke,
deal.
anyways, Dave. So
Okay.
settle down.
Okay.
My God, man.
All right.
I'm just saying is that usually, the price that you pay is you get 10 years.
I've
You know,
heard that. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that's also a supernatural thing. So who knows if that was something made up for the show or it was real
Or
or
based on facts, right? Yep.
taken on folklore. So
Right.
what I would do is I would be like, I want to be the best NFL quarterback ever. And I want to win at least 12 Super Bowls. That way, I have to live past 10 years in order to win 12 Super Bowls.
Although knowing how crafty Satan is, there would be a couple of years where they decided to have 2 Super Bowls as an introduction, as like something special for NFL fans, and you would happen to win 2 Super Bowls
I
in
would
one
throw
year,
I
which
would
would
throw
make you an incredible icon.
I would throw the game.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to.
I
You
would
would
I
throw the ball away and it'd be a miraculous catch every time. And then
I would
and then the guy would break his leg trying to make the tackle or twist an ankle or trip on a piece of grass and he'd fall face first and the guy would run down the field and score. You
I
couldn't do
would
anything wrong.
I would McNabb pass the shit out of it. That's what I would do. I would
Uh,
I
you'd be
it would
setting records, buddy. You'd be 500-600 yards a game, no incompletions.
that's yeah.
You
No,
would turn around and throw the ball behind you one of your receivers would be there,
it would hit
catch
the
it,
goal. It would
and make
it would,
a
it would knock
112-yard return,
it would
112-yard catch, and score.
yeah, the football would hit the goalpost, start banging around while it waited for the receiver to get down there.
Well, it fell into his lap, and he just took off running straight up the middle of the field, and everybody tripped and couldn't make the tackle. And he would just run the whole entire way.
Well, you know what would happen though, because on the 12th victory, I would throw the pass.
Yeah,
It would catch it for a touchdown, ensuring the victory, and then right as that I threw the ball, I would get hit so hard by a linebacker, I would die right there in the field.
there you go. That's what would happen.
But you want to know
Hangman's
what?
break. Hangman's break on your neck.
I'd be the GOAT.
You would be the GOAT. Tom Brady be taking second place big time.
That's right. FUTB. So
although you'd be
dead,
eternally flayed or filleted, depending on who you got down in hell every day. So
well, you know,
yeah, that wouldn't be a lot of fun. So just
probably
saying.
Not. Yeah. It was a joke anyway, Dave.
I know, I totally understand.
But you have to try to throw in the loophole.
Right.
So until I win, see, either that or I could go win 11 Super Bowls and then retire.
Yeah, it's I just don't think that the King of Hell doesn't have a step up on us when it comes to loopholes. I think he's the master of loopholes.
Probably.
And I think that no matter how smart we think we are, I think that ultimately we would be the ones who would be on the receiving end of the short stick on that.
Probably. So
yeah.
One of the things that caught my attention when we were doing the Thresholds show, and we talked about it, because Crossroads was in there as a threshold, as a liminal space,
right?
Neither here nor there, and it was the like the Haitian voodoo religion and the voodoo belief system of Papa Legba.
Yeah, which is the guy like we were talking about just a show or two ago that was in Constantine.
Yeah.
Right. So Papa Legba was the guy, the black guy who owned the bar.
Well, they always called him Midnight.
Yeah, but that was Papa Legba. They called him Papa.
They called him
Constantine,
Midnight.
John Wick called him Papa multiple
times.
The
fact that you just called him John Wick.
Or
you mean Keanu Reeves?
Yeah. But I don't care. It's John Wick. So John
Wick.
John Wick, damn it. He's not
John Wick
else.
Is Constantine.
Exactly.
That's the show that we need, Dave. That's the show that we need. We need John Wick as Constantine.
What a classic movie that would be. Oh, look at that. It completely faded out. Perfect.
Yeah, so I said.
Oh, my back is bugging me. Sorry. I'm leaning back, stretching. So
that's quite all right. I figured that was the case.
Yep. But that would be a classic movie, wouldn't it? John Wick as Constantine. Good. Speaking of which, Constantine 2, they keep the rumor mills out there that they're making the movie.
They keep putting out, like, I think it's got to be fake trailers or something like that. They're like, here's a teaser trailer and blah, blah, blah. But
I watched one of the trailers and I was highly disappointed. The original movie is so good.
It is so good.
Which that deserves to be on a Halloween movie top 10 list.
I agree, but it's not. It's not on the 130 anyway.
No. Right.
Anyways, getting back to Papa Legba.
Yes, Papa.
So Papa Legba is often depicted as an old man with a cane or crutches, symbolizing his role as a guide. Now, why does that symbolize a guide?
It doesn't.
An old man with a cane or crutches.
I don't know. That would make me a guide.
I mean, unless they're going the whole Gandalf the Grey thing with his staff and everything. But
well, that's what I was thinking, like Moses. So he's like the Moses of voodoo. Or the voodoo religion, anyway.
followers frequently invoke Papa Legba at the beginning of ceremonies to facilitate communication with other Loa. I don't know what that means. I don't know what Loa
I think
means.
others, I would just say it's elder spirits. He's like the overseer. Like Papa Legba is like the overseer of that voodoo religion. So if you're trying to do something in the voodoo religion, you have to pay respect to Papa Legba, and then he will let you enter, and other spirits that are within that religious belief system kind of come and converse with you, interact with you, type of thing. He's like the gatekeeper, for lack of a better term. That's what his role is.
Well, Papa Legba needs to come on 2 dudes and some chips, because offerings to Legba can include alcohol, tobacco, and candy.
Well,
So
totally. You're
he's
on the
just
candy.
he's a
I'm on the
dude.
alcohol. We'll pass the tobacco.
Yeah, I don't do anything except candy. He can take the tobacco, you take the alcohol, I'll take the
That's what I
candy.
said. That's what I said. You get the candy, I get the
Oh,
alcohol, and we'll throw
I thought
somebody else the tobacco
anyway, yeah. So
because I don't do
but
tobacco. Neither do you. So
neither do I. So that's all Legba. Um, but he's kind of the overseer of like the gates and the
yeah,
doors and the stuff to
right,
the other side. And
right.
so well, I was just telling you to the people who are listening, not you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I knew you knew that. But yeah, he serves as an intermediary between man and spirit. So I mean, there's nothing really here though about um anybody like doing like deals with him or anything like that. So I mean, I
he's not a. You got to remember, Lucifer is part of Christianity or
yes.
Catholicism.
Whereas Legba is Haitian.
Papa Legba is Haitian and voodoo.
Yeah.
Two totally different things. So could Papa Legba be a demonic entity, and I throw that in air quotes, for the voodoo religion? Could he be Satan in the voodoo religion? Possibly, but I don't think that every time, and I don't know this for a fact. So if you're an expert on voodoo, I don't mean to like be throwing stuff out there. I don't, and I'm throwing it out there that I don't know for a fact. So, but I think that Papa Legba doesn't always require some huge sacrifice like Satan would to get something in return. I think it's more of a thing of respect. Whereas Satan constantly is harvesting things, looking to throw things back in God's face. And I don't think Papa Legba is that same type of entity.
So I'm going to read this
Yeah.
probably these 2 paragraphs because it goes on the whole Robert Johnson thing that we were just talking about with a different take.
Mm-hmm.
So Legba is strongly associated with Crossroads magic and is referenced in a number of early 20th century blues tunes from the area of the Mississippi Delta. Famed bluesman Robert Johnson is said to have met a spirit at the Crossroads and offered him his soul in exchange for musical success.
Mm-hmm.
Although eventually the story was twisted to say Johnson met the devil, musical folklorists believe that tale is rooted in racist ideology. Instead, Johnson met Legba at the Crossroads, where he had gone seeking guidance and wisdom. Papa Legba is a master communicator who is said to speak the languages of all human beings. He then translates petitions and delivers them to the LOA. He is a teacher and warrior, but also a trickster deity. Legba is a remover of obstacles and can be consulted to help find new positive opportunities thanks to his ability to open doors and new roads.
Mm-hmm. That's what so that goes kind of hand in hand with what I was saying in my overview, is that he's not a demonic entity that requires a huge sacrifice for every single thing that he provides you. Right now, I don't know where in the hell the racist thing comes in there. I totally don't get why they threw that in there, but I think that unless you were there, it'd be very difficult to exactly say what happened with Robert Johnson, but something happened. You don't take it. That'd be like somebody walking. That'd be like somebody who couldn't play "Mary Had a Little Lamb" on a piano, right? This is equivalent. This isn't an exaggeration. You couldn't play "Mary Had a Little Lamb" on a piano. You disappear for 30 days. Nobody knows where you are. They assume you're dead. You show back up, and
Now you can play
all of a sudden, you're filling Madison Square Garden with flawless classical music. It just doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't happen. Some people are born phenomenal. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm not saying that there aren't kids that are 4 years old that can play Mozart. Sure, there are. There's 5-year-old kids that can play a violin for some of the most classic, beautiful pieces of music ever. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a guy who grew up, was a man, sucked at what he was trying to do, left for a month, shows back up, and becomes the father of the blues. That's a big difference. Now, could he have met Legba? Sure, but that would be a huge offering. I just don't see how Papa Legba would take his life at age 27 unless he specifically said he wanted to go. I mean, you got to remember, this is the 1920s, and he was black and in the South, and maybe he just didn't want to live a long life. Maybe his goal was, hey, I want to be super famous. I want to be remembered forever. And he got what he wanted. And maybe that was good enough for him. Maybe that was his deal. You got to put, every time we talk about stuff like this, I'm always kind of fascinated by what was in 1920, what would have been the goal of somebody who was willing to give their life to the devil or to an entity like that, a deity, in exchange for something. What would the goal have been? And then 100 years later, we try to rationalize whether that goal would be acceptable or not. And that's really not for us to rationalize. What we would want today? Oh my God, we're a materialistic society. We would want all the money you could possibly have, all the great looks, great body, physically attractive, blah, this, that, the whole 9 yards, famous, some sort of great athlete or great movie actor or great philanthropist or whatever. You would want to be somebody who was remembered forever moving forward. But back in 100 years ago, when Robert Johnson made his deal, maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe he just said, hey, man, I just want to be able to play the blues. It's in my soul. I feel it. I just can't get it out. I need to be able to get it out and share it with people. And maybe that's all he wanted.
Well, and the thing about this is, and this is why I say, people that we call what's the word I'm looking for? When they're just naturally gifted at something.
Oh, yeah.
Not is it prodigal?
Prodigy.
A prodigy, yes.
Yeah.
There are certain people who are just prodigies at certain things.
Absolutely.
Let's look at the movie Good Will Hunting. I mean, he was just a prodigy
sure.
when it came to the math. Like it was
math,
just something
music. It doesn't right, exactly. Yep.
So I mean, I think that inside of us, there are certain talents that are just locked away.
Yeah, they're latent. We all have latent talents. Absolutely.
Exactly. And so, as I read this thing about, him being Papa Legba being teacher, a warrior, he's a trickster, blah, blah, blah. It says Legba is a remover of obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe one of the things he's able to do is take those latent, those
Abilities. Yeah.
abilities,
Yeah.
and he's able to remove that block,
Right.
and the natural talent just comes out. Maybe that's what happened with Robert Johnson. Maybe he was supposed to be a blues person. It
Maybe
was
he
in
was.
his blood. It was in his soul. It was his
Right.
latent ability, and he knew it. And he was like, "I just want to play the blues. That's what I'm destined to do."
Right.
And like it was like, he just removed. He opened that door, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to give you. I'm going to bring out all of the abilities that you have to play the guitar."
And how
What?
frustrating would it be if you were Robert Johnson and you knew that was your destiny in your heart of hearts? You knew that was your destiny, but you couldn't get there, right? No matter how hard you tried, you just failed miserably. People laughed at him. People literally laughed at him and made jokes about him,
Hmm.
about Robert Johnson. So, you know, so I can see where that would lead him to go do something like that. And I'm not judging him. He got what he wanted. That's what he wanted. And if you get what you want, I, if you're okay with the deal, it's not my job to tell you that it was a bad deal. You got what you wanted, right?
Mhm.
Not judging, and we're not judging. The show doesn't judge you. I
Well,
mean,
I,
we're
I I I judge a lot of people, but I'm not
you
judging
do,
Robert.
yeah, you do judge a lot of people, right? But don't judge Robert Johnson. So, right. But I mean, maybe he got what he wanted. And I agree with you. Maybe it was something latent that was in him that um he just couldn't get out and he needed help getting it out. Now, it just doesn't make that much sense to me that Papa Legba would take his life at age 27 in exchange for him opening up that door. But maybe that was okay. Maybe that's what Robert Johnson wasn't worried about that. Maybe that he was okay with that. Maybe he didn't want to live to be 80 years old, you know.
Well, maybe, I mean, we could be looking at this a little bit different. Maybe him dying young was his loophole.
Then it
You
could
know,
be.
maybe it was like, okay, I'm going to come and take your soul. You live for another 20 years or whatever it is. You get all this fame. Well, then he was like, okay, I got what I wanted, but now I have to live all of these rest of these years before he comes. Why don't I just end it now? And then
Right.
he didn't give me the rest of his deal. Therefore, the contract is void.
Yeah, I don't think Robert Johnson outbid the Papa Legba
See, now who's
or
judgy,
the
Dave?
devil. Huh?
Now who's judgy? You don't know.
I'm not judging. I'm just giving a personal opinion. I don't think he was somebody who was going to outsmart uh, that. I will say, though, as a side note, if you're not aware of this fact, look up the word savant. If you've never
Savant.
seen this, yeah,
That's the
savant.
word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Savant.
And I'm telling you what, your life will be changed when you see some of these individuals that are savants. Like, I watched a documentary that was an hour long, and it was one of the best hours I've ever spent in my life. The guy was blind. He was in his 30s. He was blind, had been since birth, and he could play any song on the piano that you could name, even if he'd never heard it before. And they tested it by going to this little pub in Ireland where there was a house song, like a song that had been there for 100 years, but it was only for that little tiny Irish community and this pub. And they walked him in there and he sat down and they talked to him, and the lady came up and said, "This is the song and this has been our song," and she gave the whole background story on it. And the guy said, "Does it go something like this?" Wham! Lays the song out, and the lady just standing there bawling. Absolutely amazing. Amazing. So look up savant. If you don't know what the term means, I can't spell it for you. It's like Sevant would be my guess, but absolutely amazing how gifted some individuals are. They give something at birth that they lack, like sight, but then they're given this gift like this guy was for the piano. It's incredible, incredible. But
I guess I really can't say this for certain because I haven't looked at the word or the examples of it, but I think a lot of people who are considered savants are a lot in music
I would agree with that as far as I know. Yeah.
or art. Like art,
Yeah, I
art
would
and
agree.
music.
Music and the arts. Yeah, I would agree. I'm not an expert on savants either. I just know that I've watched some documentaries and that I've read some incredible stories about people that are considered to be savants. And you're right. It's usually in like arts and music.
Hmm. And I wonder if that's because that's where like a lot of energy and a lot of emotion sits. I mean, because you can play a song, whether it's it could be Guns N' Roses, November Rain, and you're going to spark some sort of memory and emotion
Right.
in people.
Right.
But because I can do long division is only going to spark one emotion, and that's boredom.
Right. Right.
So I mean, I wonder if it's the universe's way of connecting us in another fashion.
Keep us relevant, I guess maybe.
Not keep us relevant, but
Keep
just
us part of the system. I don't know. Maybe it's an exchange thing. Like maybe, hey, there was an issue with your genetics when you were kind of being incubated in your mom's womb, right? There was an issue. The DNA didn't kind of fall into place like it was supposed to. And so I'm sorry that happened, but in exchange for you not being able to see, I'm going to give you the ability to play whatever song you want on the piano. I don't know. I don't know that I would want that, but I think it's phenomenal that people like that exist.
this Loa is driving me nuts. Because you keep saying
Yeah,
Loa.
and I got to be honest, when you said that, I've never heard of that. So
and it's lowercase, and so
and
I
it
was
just says LOA.
LOA, and I finally looked it up, and in the dictionary, it says a god in the voodoo religion of Haiti. So, but why isn't it capitalized?
It's interesting. I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, I'll be damned. It's
pronounced Liwa.
It's WLWA, also called LOA. So apparently they're like synonyms.
Liwa.
Okay, we got it, Dave. Loa.
Liwa.
Loa. Are spirits in the African diasporic, I don't know how to pronounce that, religion of Haitian voodoo and Dominican voodoo.
There's a golf clap for you on that one. You actually did not butcher that word. I'm so proud of you right now.
Diasporic? Diasporic?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dave. I'm evolving.
You're always evolving, my friend.
I am always evolving. Like I Loa, okay. Yeah, apparently there's spirits in the Haitian religion. Okay.
And we need to do another show on voodoo.
Okay. Well, I see Wes at the bus stop every once in a while. No.
No, I think we just need to do more of a Voodoo 101 show. That was when we did our voodoo show with Wes, it was like Voodoo 421 show. It was like an advanced college show, advanced college degree where you already knew all the basic information. And this was throwing names out there and like so and so does this, so and so does that. That was way deeper than what we needed for an introductory into voodoo. But I think that, and no disrespect to us, but I think that like something like this and talking about Papa Legba and possibly somebody who would know the story of Robert Johnson and maybe have a little bit deeper insight into it, because I'm fascinated by this story. I mean, are we on the right path? Or is there something else to it? Is there something that somebody has researched deep enough that isn't on, the web in the first 10 pages of a search? Is there something deeper in there, some truth that somebody dug out, an author, somebody who's a descendant of Robert Johnson type of thing, or somebody who's friends with his great great grandson or great great granddaughter or whatever the case might be, and then get like a different insight into it. Because I think that this story, I've been fascinated by this story forever. I mean, I bought his music when I lived in Chicago, back in the 80s. I've been listening to Robert Johnson since probably 1981 or 82, which doesn't seem that long ago to me, but that was a long time ago.
Well, it's like the entire duration of my life. So yeah, it's kind of long.
Right. And it's funny, the older you get, you're like, oh yeah, I was in school in 1980. I graduated in 84 and da, da, da. And it doesn't seem that long ago, but yeah, it was quite a while ago.
And then the person you're talking to is like, yeah, I wasn't born yet.
No, right. Yeah, no, yeah, it freaks me out when people are like, well, I was born in 2002. What? What the hell are you talking about? You couldn't have been born in 2002. There were no births in 2002.
There were no births in 2002.
It's weird. You'll understand it when you get older.
Yeah.
Talk to anybody who's in there, who's 60 or above, and when they think back on like their high school and years like that and things that they did, it doesn't seem that long ago, even though it was a long time ago.
No, it doesn't seem that long ago for me. And it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I guess I could have just continued reading this article. So I mean, it said in the Haitian religion of voodoo, Legba is seen as the intermediary between mortal men and the Loa. The Loa. The Loa are a group of spirits responsible for various aspects of daily life, and they are the children of a supreme creator, Bandai. They are divided into families such as the Hidi and the Ogwau, something like that. Are you sure? Because it's just OGOU.
Do you want me to pull up the verbal dictionary and see what it says?
Sure, why not? And practitioners develop relationships with them through offerings, petitions, and prayers. Often, Papa Legba is the one who carries these prayers to the Loa. So I wonder if the Loa could be considered what Cena calls like the Galaxy Council.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe.
So Ogun is how I would say it, is not an ordinary man. This Ogu Ferre was a blacksmith, warrior, lover, and one of the most popular and beloved Iwa of Haitian voodoo.
Yeah, that's
he is the power of the general, strategy and tactics, diplomacy, justice, and victory.
OGOU.
Yep.
Oh, wow. It's like Honolulu.
Yeah, it's well, there's a couple of different ones. So I mean, you got Ogu Ferray, F-E-R-A-Y, and then you've got Ogu Badagri, B-A-D-A-G-R-I. And they're two different entities, but they're both from voodoo religion.
You
So
just
a deity, I would say, right? I would
yes.
say they're a deity, you know, and being Christian uh tends for me to, as my faith, not to believe in deities. Um, but I wonder if some of these deities that were given names by mankind are nothing more than angels that showed up and made some sort of miraculous impact on the people that were there at that time, whether it be a fallen angel or an angel that still walks in the light of God, either one. You know, I wonder if if these entities, these deities that come from different religions, like the Nordic community, obviously, like the Vikings, they had a whole slew of deities. You know, people that they prayed to and people they believed in, and all kinds of religions have that. Pagan religions, right? They all have their own deities. But I wonder if these deities aren't just angels, you know, and just didn't classify themselves as that. Maybe just showed up and they were doing a little side gig. God was like, "Hey, take a couple weeks off." And they took a couple weeks off and went to Iceland, ran into some humans and were like, "Oh, crap. These guys aren't supposed to see me." And then like performed some like disappearing act or some great act of like things that a man couldn't do. And they were like, "Oh, we got to start praying to this guy or this gal, whatever the case might be." I don't
Kind
know.
of
I don't know.
kind of like the time traveler that goes back and with a lighter and it's like, look, I'm inventing, I can do fire, just from
Right.
flick of the wrist. I'm
Right.
I'm a god.
Right. There's an
Well,
interesting, like, there's a show on Netflix I'm going to watch. I have not watched it yet, but there's a show on Netflix that I just saw where a modern American family, they're trying to solve this issue with their family genealogy type of thing, and they go back to medieval times. They get transported against their will, and they have to survive in medieval times being a family from 2024. And I watched the trailer, it looks very interesting. Like just the interactions, uh, the doubt. I mean, think about that. So you go back to medieval times as somebody from 2024. We talk about time travel and time slips and uh, interdimensional type of crossover moments and stuff like that. What if you took a family from with our values right now and you got thrown back into the 1300s during the Inquisition, right? Like if those people back then saw you, they would call you the devil. They
they
would
would
call you a demon,
they, they would call
or
me.
they would put you up on a pedestal and call you a god because you were totally different than they are. You're
Definitely god.
so far removed from what they understand that you would be elevated or degraded, but one of the two. It wouldn't be a common existence, right? There wouldn't be no common existence. You're not going to go back to 1371 and show up in a pair of Gucci slippers and a Ralph Lauren polo shirt with a Rolex on and be like, "Hey, what's going on, my brother?" And the people in this mud hut, that have eaten like one potato this month are like, "Who the hell are you?" And you're like, I just showed up. Yeah, I live down the way." Right? Like you'd either be hung or you would be like they would take you to the center square and people would be bowing because they just wouldn't understand who you are. And for that time frame, it would be, I think that's the way they would look at it. And I think there's a possibility that we're doing that now. Like I think, like, if you took some sort of other human that's 500 years advanced from us right now and brought them back to Earth, we would call them an alien. Or we would call them a god. Or we would say that's the devil.
No, I think we just shoot them.
Well, that too. But what I'm saying there is maybe that's what's happening. That goes hand in hand with what we've heard over and over and over and over again about how things exist now, then, and in the future. So what if we are the aliens? Right? What if 500-year advanced humankind is coming back to say, hey, don't do this. This is what caused Skynet. And I know I reference that all the time, but God, I feel like that is not that far-fetched with what we're doing with SAI now and trying to clone human brains and grow human brains. I don't know if you saw that or not, but there was a thing not that long ago. It was just a couple days, about 3 days ago, that I saw an article where they're growing brain tissue and they are interlacing it with SAI. And I mean, if that's not the start of Skynet, I don't know what is. I mean, Elon Musk said it best, right? There's only one thing in the world you need to be afraid of, and that's artificial intelligence. And that's a man who knows what he's talking about because he's put shit into outer space.
I don't know if I would trust Elon Musk to know what he's talking about.
I can't not trust him.
But either way, isn't that what Kathy was talking about last week with the whole
yeah. I think so. I think she was on that path. Yeah.
The alien being or whatever that came to her and was like, these are the two things that set this all in motion or whatever.
Yeah. When she was walking back and she was in Sedona walking through the canyons, like where they have the vortexes.
Yes.
You know, and she got visited by the entity that she couldn't see, but that was there with her. So I think, you know, it would be the same thing as us going back 500 years ago, 400 years, whatever. The amount of time is irrelevant. You know, we travel back, we would be seen as something to be afraid of or something to be worshipped. And maybe that's been happening forever. You know, I mean, go back and look at, you know, the time of Moses and, you know, maybe like when everybody was idolizing false gods back then and the burning bush and the whole story of Moses, maybe that was somebody from the future who gave them the idea that, hey, you should be worshiping this golden calf for some reason. And the people who were in charge at the time, or the people who were powerful at the time, said, no, that's not the way it should be. And then you had this great conflict. So I don't know. You know,
we've really taken a detour.
I like it though. I'm okay with that. Because we've done it. We did Halloween justice. I think it's time to leave ourselves with. Yeah, I think it's time to leave ourselves with this kind of this looming question of, you know, is that what's happening?
Does time travel exist?
Well, I mean, is that what's happening? Right? Is our future selves coming back and warning us about stuff now? And are we seeing that as aliens? Is that what we understand as aliens? You know, is that what we're classifying as the term UAPs, which is just, please stop with that shit. It's a UFO. There's no reason to change the terminology. Good God. But anyway.
I digress.
Yeah, exactly. That's two guys and some chips right there because we're deep diving on that shit. But But yeah, I don't know. You know, I mean, it kind of goes a little bit with Halloween. Not really,
Not really.
but we got there. So I'm sitting here with my pumpkin, sinister looking pumpkins, and you've got your calm looking pumpkins with a few bats, and Halloween's right around the corner. So for everybody who's listening, and we're not done yet, but I'm just saying, be safe, hand out candy. It's a great tradition. Kids love it. They get a night to dress up and be somebody that they're not, whether that be a ghost or a Barbie or a bunny.
Bunny.
uh, and they get to go out and enjoy themselves with their friends and run around and have fun and bring home some treats that they normally don't get. So,
none of which came from my house, because my house
none
would
of
be
which
dark.
is coming from Michael's house. So don't go to Michael's house. But have fun, be safe. It's supposed to be halfway decent this year here in Minnesota, which is great. Because I can't tell you how many years we spent time on costumes, and then it was like 21 degrees on Halloween, and everybody wore coats and boots and long johns, and then there was like you couldn't even see the costume. So
Thursday is supposed to be I think it's a typical fall day, high of 45.
yeah, it's
here,
not bad.
Here, low of 27. So you are going to have to put the
You'll have
the
a coat
jacket.
on.
You're going to have the coat over the costume.
Yeah, but you can have the coat open though, because you're running from house to house, so you'll be working up a sweat. And just remember, parents, don't take all the good candy. Buy it yourself.
Yeah, you can have all the licorice
online right now, 50% off. A ton of their Halloween candy. Buy yourself your own bag of candy. Leave your kids' candy alone.
I have to say, like, one of the I think it's a radio commercial for Kit Kat, and the kid's talking about going trick-or-treating or whatever, and he was given a Kit Kat, and he's like, yeah, and I get a Kit Kat for free, and the father's like, son, you're 8, all your candy's for free.
Yeah,
like, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So parents, you spend the money, kids, you get everything for free.
Absolutely. It's the way it's supposed to be.
Which is why every time I see a pack of kids playing in a yard or whatever, I'm just like, enjoy it, kids. It's all going to end soon.
Boy, on that note, we should end the show.
On that positive note.
On that yeah, I wasn't going to use the word positive there, but I'll give you that one just because it's our Halloween show. So on that note of positivity from Michael, we're out.
Yes. So honestly, everybody have a good and safe Halloween if you want to.
Drive slow through neighborhoods, please. Yeah.
Yep.
Don't be in a rush.
Whether you're handing out candy, whether you're taking your kids out trick-or-treating, whether you're going to a Halloween party, or whether you're going to stay in and watch Hocus Pocus like me. In the dark. So nobody comes to your door. So nobody comes to your house. I can't even hear the doorbell with how loud the thing's going to be. Just don't. But have a safe and great Halloween. I will be back next week. Dave will not be.
I will not be back next week.
Because apparently over the next 2 months, he's got a lot of plans on Sundays he's not going to be here for.
I do, actually.
So
it's coming to that time of year. I did make this statement in my own defense. I did make the statement that there's going to be some Sundays that I'm not going to be available. And I've got some Sundays coming up here between now and the end of the year when I'm not going to be available. So
but anyway,
I'll be here in spirit.
Yeah, that's good. So again, check out our new website, odysseyfilesradio.com. Let us know what you think. If you have a paranormal story or question that you want to ask Dave and I, you can submit it directly from the website, and we look forward to hearing from you.
But, and if you want to hear the EVP I was talking about that I got at my favorite location, send in a request and we'll air it.
Yes, sir.
But we're not airing it without a request.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So until next time, I will be here. Dave will not. So we'll either have Cena or Sam or somebody else. But yeah, until then, stay healthy, stay safe. We want to see you back here. Everyone, have a great night.